what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
All right, so chip makers versus EV companies. Which one is more important over the next 10 years? And what are some of your favorite chip companies or EV companies, if you don't?
You got one?
You guys want to go first?
Okay, so chip companies or EV companies, which one is more important? I would say chip companies because you can have, it's kind of like Bitcoin and blockchain. Blockchain can exist without Bitcoin, but Bitcoin can't exist without blockchain. So there's no EVs without chip companies.
True,
but there's chip companies without EVs. So I would say that the chips are more important because they power pretty much everything. The EVs are important, but EVs is just one part of that ecosystem.
I think that's the perfect comparison that you just laid out. I'm with you. The chip maker, like if you, and we've seen this, right? Trying to get cars in the past couple of years, just the past 2 years, the shortage of chips has had caused a detrimental impact on car makers, right? Like I just got my dad a car and we couldn't get the power seats because they didn't have the chips for power seats. And so it was like, either you have a car without the power seats or you have nothing. And so it was like,
bicycle.
all right, well, yeah. So it's like they put you in a tough spot. And so the chips are going to be important because, like you said, it powers the cars. And obviously we saw a bunch of states. Obviously I talked about California, but there's more states now that are saying like everybody has to go to zero emission. So there's going to be more EVs, but if they don't have the chips, then it's kind of not going to be as functional. And so there's a lot of people get semiconductors because there's a lot of semiconductors, but not all of them are for automobiles. And that's what we got to really understand. And so when we hear all these semiconductors and we talk about TSM and we talk about NVIDIA and we talk about AMD, not all of them are inside of EVs right now, right? And so we got to be very clear. But I'm going to give you three that are like some of the leaders, semiconductors inside of the automobile space. So NXP semis. You should write that down. That's a good one. NXP semis. All right. They 10% share of the EV chip making market. This is a surprise because most people probably don't think about this. Texas Instruments. When we think Texas Instruments, we think high school, we think calculators.
Calculator, yeah.
That's it. But they have 9% share in the EV space when it comes to making chips for vehicles. Qualcomm is in that space as well. I know they're doing stuff with GE, and I believe AMD is going to be inside of Tesla. So those are four semiconductors that are inside the EV space now. There'll probably be more.
Can you say those four again, please?
NXP semis.
Yep.
Texas Instrument, Qualcomm, AMD. All four semis, all inside the EV space. And that's key to understand which semi, and there's more, obviously, but just understanding which semis are being used for what is important because they're not all used for the same things.
I agree. Chips are the most important for sure. I want to go on record. I think AMD and NVIDIA, one of those two will be the most important company in the next 10 years. Ethereum had a little bit of an issue
out of every company, or out of every chip company.
I'll say top five, and I'll tell you why.
Out of everything, every company.
If everyone believes in metaverse, all this shout out to Rick Ross that take this fight. Ross is different.
I need to see it.
I need to see it.
Y'all talking about crypto?
I need to see it.
Where that?
Pressure.
Where that? Yo, where that? Where's the money?
Yeah.
Shout out to Ross.
That was hilarious.
Yo, that's a bad boy right there.
I feel you though. Ethereum had a little bit of a blow up though this weekend. If you guys didn't know.
Yes. Yes, it did.
So if you believe in metaverse, car, computer, technology, and if those are on a cellular level, like the blood cells of a computer and this digital world, and if Ethereum is going to have issues, and if you're going to try and crack one of these cryptocurrencies, you're going to need a certain amount of computer power to do so. I think AMD or NVIDIA is primed to be. I'm going to go on record. If Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla does not acquire AMD or NVIDIA, it's going to lead to them being killed off by one of those two. Because how long, if they are providing the life force for your industry, and I'm the number one product on the block, how much longer will I let you be the number one product and you just move me around like blue magic whenever you want to before I say, hey, I'm going to get into your industry? That's why TSM is very interesting, because if somebody put it in Zoom that China figured a way to avoid those U.S. sanctions, but if China gets control of TSM, that's a nice piece on the chessboard to be able to control the global economy.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yep.
We said that.
And if you believe in Starlink and like how many NVIDIA chips do you think Elon needs for Neuralink to connect to the satellites to then mind control Putin, to drive him off in a Tesla, to push up Dogecoin and then Bitcoin and then pick a president for the next? You need a couple chips.
I want my chips with the dip.
Chips with the dip.
Hey, Elon needs all the chips right now. Tesla needs to acquire.
Dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's asking for the tickers, so I'll just run down the tickers really quickly. Qualcomm is QCOM. That's for Qualcomm. AMD, obviously, is the ticker. Texas Instrument, TXN. And NXP Semis is NXPI. That's the ticker for it, NXPI.
This boy said he was going to buy Coca-Cola and put the cocaine back in it, and nobody said nothing.
That's a fact.
They want to bring the 80s back.
He said, I'm going to put the cocaine back in the Coca-Cola. Elon Musk.
Boy, y'all let this dude build Skynet right in front of y'all and not say nothing.
The juice is loose.
That dude's different.
Juice is loose.
Yo, real quick, it's the 9 o'clock hour, and so we're going to give you our earnings. I know last week we gave you the earnings and told you, and it was a rocky road. We saw Tuesday the market go down. We saw Facebook report. We went back up, and then obviously Apple and Amazon on Thursday, and we saw the results of that. We spoke about that earlier. So earnings report brought to you by the good folks at Ally. Earners, Red Panda family, want to let you know about a great choice if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service, innovative financial solutions, and are relentlessly focused on doing it right for both customers and our communities. Get with Ally so you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter most to you. For everything we need, we're all better off with an Ally. So let's run it down this week. All right, here we go. There's one of my companies that I always talk about is in here. So tomorrow, the company we just spoke about in the semiconductor space will be reporting. AMD will be reporting. Starbucks will be reporting. Airbnb and Lyft, all companies we've spoken about before. And I know some of you have started businesses or are in business with either doing Lyft or having an Airbnb. Uber will be reporting on Wednesday. Twilio and Fortinet, companies we've all spoke about. Thursday, Shopify, Datadog, DoorDash, and Penn National. Spoke about that a lot. Shout out to Jamal. That was one of his companies that
Absolutely.
Going back and forth. And Friday, DraftKings. You already know that I have shares in DraftKings. I'm interested to see their earnings report. Obviously, the stock has been hammered down to like $15 a share, maybe even below that right now. But the first quarter that's the home run season for them, right? You had the NFL playoffs, you had the Super Bowl, you had March Madness. And so these big sporting events all happened in the first quarter. I know New York passed legalization of online gambling in their first quarter, and we saw that they did like $1 million, some crazy number in the first weekend. So I'll be interested to see what DraftKings comes back as far as their earnings. So that's our earnings report for this week, y'all.
What were the first four you said?
AMD, Starbucks, Airbnb, and Lyft.
Okay. Look, can someone put in chat, either Zoom or YouTube, what is Uber's net profit margin? Uber's going to go out of business in the net. Well, they're going to fall from grace, I'll say that. I think Uber is one of the few companies that is publicly traded that does not have a sustainable business model and probably should have never been listed publicly. But I mean, I get the angel to venture pipeline game, but
if Uber goes out of business, I mean, what's going to happen? Because I mean, nobody takes cabs anymore. Everybody takes Ubers or Lyfts. Everybody does that. That's pretty like universal at this point. It's like Band-Aid. It's just like a brand name.
Was there a company that could come and figure out how to make profit in the space?
If they can't make a profit, how's anybody gonna make a profit?
I don't know if the company was ever founded on being most profitable. I think also the companies that were founded when capital was free flowing. Oh, this is a good test. Look at the companies that were founded when quantitative easing was flowing and compare those versus the ones that were not in a recession. So the ones that were not given funding during quantitative easing, those are the get it out the mud companies. They have to figure out how to be profitable very early, or if they did take in capital, they had to have a return on their capital pretty easy. During the terms of quantitative easing, as long as you can have an exit ramp, for the investor, the profitability of the company did not matter as much. There's probably 5 other companies I can name that probably are net negative. I don't want to ruin every relationship on earth. And don't y'all in the comments be like, oh, Ian caping. Let me get a bag for us and then come back, right? I can't do all truth telling all the time. But most of these companies that were founded post 2008, like Postmates. You think Postmates is really making money? How? Sway? Keontae on the corner in Brooklyn making more money selling his little bags than Postmates is. But okay, you want to convince me that thing's worth $15 billion. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I don't know 9 people in Flatbush that use Postmates. Like some businesses are just go up to the company and ask them, like when you see an Amazon truck driver, ask them how many deliveries does he have. That flow is consistent. Postmates, not. Grubhub, not so much.
Uber Eats is moving heavy in the streets. Heavy.
Dan put, okay, great question. If Uber disappeared tomorrow, would it affect the world?
Yes.
At all?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Think so?
You don't think so?
Absolutely. He must not be taking Ubers. If
I think a lot, but Uber versus Lyft, it's like, I mean, it's a brand name, but it doesn't have an emotional impact where if it died tomorrow,
it's going to inconvenience a lot of people. It's going to inconvenience me. It's going to definitely. I use Uber and I use Uber Eats.
Me too.
So that'll be a tremendous.
We really need to learn how to cook.
It's going to impact some people, bro. Boy, like that's a fact.
That's a fact.
The men like us that can't cook, for real.
Exactly.
Boy,
exactly. Nightly dinners.
Boy,
Uber Eats.
Look at them. They too good to cook.
Nah.
I just burned all my shit up. I boiled water, catch fire. I'm like, damn. They put no oil in there. What happened?
My father told me a great lesson. He said, if somebody's great, let them be great. And so my wife is great at cooking. So I don't have to be great. I can be great at something else.
Oh, that's a big fact. Yeah.
Be great at something else. Ian is now disappeared.
Ian has left the building.
Somebody pulled the plug on him.
That was my Uber Eats. Now this is Pedialyte. Y'all keep asking what am I drinking. Y'all think I'm an alcoholic? If you've been around me in person, you know I'm a hella lightweight. Like, listen, you give me a wine cooler from the 90s and I'll be extra right. No, this is Pedialyte, but I don't want to endorse no other brands no more. Y'all quit playing with me. I'm not like that.
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's
This
good?
that Red Panda Anthem. Whole
boy.
shit going up. I know they can't stand it.